Okay, I am live. So there we are. Yeah. Minus this out of the way. And just to do a retweet to let people know I am live. Okay. There we go. And let's see here. That's good. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Okay, everything seems to be good. My audio's going. The chat's up. Blender's going. Okay. That should be everything. Now, let's see how many times Blender crashes on me today. Because I was playing around with this particular scene yesterday, or the day before. Well, I was playing around with it and it kept crashing on me. I mean, like, anytime I made a certain type of change, it would crash. So I'm thinking, like, I'll make a bug report for the Blender people because this is like the most unstable version of Blender I've ever used. It is so weird. Also, I don't really need all these extra panels here. Do I need to composite it? I'll leave that open. Let's just call this full view. Okay, let's see. Don't really need that view. If I need another one, I can just open it up. I don't need game logic. I am not going to be turning this into a game. Hello, Sasami-chan. Yeah. What shall we talk about today? Video games? The weather? Apple pie? Huh. Surprisingly, I've had breakfast. Why am I still hungry? Okay, let's see here. Change this into another 3D view. And make it the camera view on this one and zoom out on the texture. And I'll change this into... Don't really need that, so I'll get rid of that. I'll change this into how to spell textures. Wow. Games are cool. I've heard lots of good things about Civilizations. I have never played a single one of it, though. Okay. Texture. That's what I was looking for. Texturing. Yay for Google Speech to Text. It has been a big lifesaver for me. There we go. So I've been playing the living heck out of one of my recent games I just picked up. Need for Speed High Stakes Remastered. That's been a pretty fun game. Why don't we actually call this one Master? Did I even spell that correctly? I did not spell that correctly. There we go. Spelling another one of my enemies. When I first meet people online and I'm talking to them primarily through texting, they almost always ask me, "Is English your first language?" And I'm like, yes it is. I was asked to help someone make a video. Don't do it enough to remember stuff. Not make mistakes. Delete a file I have to record. The problems I usually have with like recording files is not that I accidentally delete them or do anything like that. My problem is back when I didn't know the correct settings for OBS to do the screen recording. Is I would record the file and then sometimes OBS would crash in the file, even though it had video data in it because of the way MP4 files write to themselves. The file was basically dead, even though it was like 3 gigs of video information, because the index or whatever wasn't written correctly. The rest of the video file to be decrypted or combined broke. So I've learned that there's a setting in OBS you can turn on that makes it so that the video file doesn't get corrupted if OBS crashes. It makes it so the video file is still usable afterwards. You just lost whatever time you didn't realize OBS had crashed. Because I found out you can actually just save it in the settings. You can actually just pick a particular file format that makes it so if OBS crashes, you still keep the video file. And I think it's, yeah, under recordings, you set it to TS. And that video file can still be used by any video editing program, at least the ones I use. And even if OBS crashes, your recording's still fine because the way TS or whatever saves itself, it makes it so the video file is still intact after the recording. Well, there's actually programs for that. One of the ones I use to recover deleted files is... Give me a second here. I don't know if you can still find it or if you can get a clean copy of it, but I used to use a program called PC Inspector File Recovery, and it would allow me to search through folders, especially if they're recently deleted files, because when Windows deletes a file, it doesn't actually delete a file. It just puts a marker at the beginning of the file saying this space is free. So what file recovery programs do is they ignore that marker and then read the contents and see, oh, this is a file starting here and ending here. This is why it's important not to use your computer after you've deleted a file, because Windows is constantly churning the hard drive. So if you have a chance and you've accidentally deleted a file, and you can immediately stop using your computer for anything that really churns the thing, and you can open up a file recovery program, usually you can recover it back almost without fail. And it's really handy if you've been running the file to an exterior folder, as in like on a separate hard drive or a thumb drive, because then Windows doesn't churn that, and you can go onto it and recover it very quickly. Um, this is all from lots of experience working with Windows and suffering major file loss. So this is also why I back up like everything constantly, everywhere. I have like anywhere from six to 4 to 5 copies of like any given file I've been working on. Uh, yeah, this is another reason I also have I managed to save up money and buy myself a Drobo, uh, which is a data robot, is what that's short for. And the company sells these units where you can put in like 4 hard drives into it and get one, a lot of space, and two, the hard drives actually use a type of technology called RAID. I think actually it's their own kind of RAID. So they're actually streaming data on all the hard drives, and all the hard drives actually have information on them that makes it so if one hard drive goes down, the other hard drives can recover that information. So that's really handy. Ah, let's see. And I'm actually still like working on, speaking of like organizing and files and stuff like that, I'm still working on like organizing this thing so I can actually really start working on it again, because oof, it's a mess. Okay, that's this pretty spot right here. Also, thank you for joining me again, Jen. It's always nice to actually have someone to interact with. This is why I'm not. This way, I'm not just talking out into the ether. And I'm glad you're still helping out with video recordings and still doing video recordings yourself. Before I started doing streaming for this stuff, I hadn't really been doing anything. I mean, being an Ember, we're doing recordings and stuff like that, but like getting a chance to really sit down and work on them is kind of hard. Okay, let's see. There's the floor. There's that. Let's see, where did I put the ladder? Can I right click and say find in view? Move to collection, insert, delete, duplicate objects. Just out of curiosity, may I ask what type of video it's on? In case anyone's watching and they might be like interested in it later or something. Ladder. Gets in. Oh, of course, it's in the ladder, which has a light in the ladder. Makes total sense. Okay, we've got this lamp. I can see that being a problem. Okay, let's see here. Let's see if the Blender crashes, because that's been a big problem lately with this version of Blender. It just pleh on me a lot. Like I'm working along, changing settings, and then pleh. Ah, gotcha. Thank you. let's see here. I'm going to change this back to solid, or let's go with material. Okay. So there's a multiplayer option in Civilization, and you're having issues with people complaining. Ah, okay. At least that's what I'm interpreting. Now, what was I going to do? I was going to... yes, change the world. Well, out of context, let's just put that over there. Excuse me. Ah. Ah. Okay, put that back to material view. Okay, I'm actually going to turn this back down to black for now. Okay, so let's see, what do we have here in main? What the heck have I selected? Wow. Okay. That would be the rope. Let's rename that, shall we? And this is front wall. Apparently something else already named front wall. That's why it's got the 001 at the end there. Deck. Cool. I named it appropriately. Camera anchor. Gotcha. And camera. Okay. What's this? Is that also the rope? No. That would be one of the brackets holding it from the ceiling. Gotcha. Okay. So, what do I call these? Hanging rings? Hanging rings. Also turn the microphone so it's pointing towards me so maybe you can hear me better. Yay! Also, how is my audio levels right now? Do I sound loud enough? Let's see. Hanging rings? Hanging rings. Rope rings? Floor? Rope. Let's just go with numbering 01. Copy that. Paste that and name it 02. Okay. Get that part. Okay. What do you call these? I think this is actually a flower basket. Do I have a reference for the front in this? It's on the low end of okay. Okay. So let me turn up the audio a little bit. How about now? Do I sound good now? I was also trying to be careful when coughing, that way I don't spike the mic. Okay, Let's see. I might have to actually look up references again. Okay. CMC Club House MLP. Because I used to have a bunch of references, but like almost all the references I had for the CMC Clubhouse just went poof. I have not played any of the Sim Cities. There's a lot of sim games I have not played. Like I almost had a chance to play one of the earlier versions of The Sims, but never really had the chance to actually install it. Okay, there's a nice view from the outside. Ah, flower box. Kind of simple, really. Ah, hands not centered on keyboard. Okay, now what's this? Oh, apparently that's the lantern. Let's see. Nope, it's the whole lantern. Okay, let's try to center our view on. Well, first we're going to put the cursor to active. Let's do that again. Actually, put cursor to active. There we are, and then we're going to want to go view. Viewpoint. There we are. Actually, no, align view. Center view to cursor. There we go. Now I can much more easily rotate around the object. Huh. Okay, I betcha. There we are. Yep. Okay. Yep. I have 4 materials on this. And I've hit in the chat again. I have seen enough of it to I haven't played any Sims or Civilizations, but I have played Age of Empires, which does use that kind of 3/4 top-down view. And it can be kind of grid-like. Though speaking of, though me bringing up, I should say, give us in here, Age of Empires, specifically Age of Empires 2, the map editor on that thing is terrible. Man, I wish it was better, because also the AI in that game is really bad. Playing against it, it feels kind of cheaty. Also, if you make a map so you have enough resources to build a town hall, but don't have a town hall built, the AI will not build a town hall, but it will automatically start gathering resources to build a barracks or something to create soldiers. But once it gets enough resources to do that, it doesn't do anything because there's no town hall. The AI relies on that there's already a town hall built. So it won't do anything other than gather resources if there's no town hall, instead of like building a town hall. So it's like it made it really hard to test a map that I called Survivor, where you start out with a single villager and you have enough resources to build a town hall, and you're surrounded by trees. So yeah, that was kind of a fun experiment. Um, and the reason I see the map editor is not that good is because you have to single click to put trees and other foliage down. You can't just paint a line of trees. You have to click, 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 click. I'm like, my poor mouse. I've worn out so many buttons this way. Uh, Also, you know what's kind of funny? If you look up CMC Clubhouse, you almost always find one of my renders in the search. Of this particular render here, you almost always find it in the search somewhere. It's kind of neat. Okay. I'm just continuing to look through the image search I did for Cutie Mark Crusaders Clubhouse just to see if there's any um, things I need to like look up. Oh wow, one of my friend's images right there. That is an old one. Well, a lot of people have attempted to build the CMC Clubhouse in Minecraft. Awesome for them. Okay, I am not seeing anything I currently need. I always find it odd that I found a reference image for the angle I was using in my image up here a long time ago, and I don't have it anywhere anymore, which is so weird. Um, so you actually can't find that angle of the Human Creatives Clubhouse directly from the show anymore, which is weird because I've tried looking for it online to find it again, and um, so you can't find that angle from the show anymore, but you can find my image in Google image searches. When you type in CMC Clubhouse interior, my image almost always pops up. I'm like, but I already have that one. Where's the one I was using as a reference? At this point, I think what I did is I screenshotted from like that episode. So I think I need to do that again because I do have that episode somewhere on my hard drive. So let's see here. I can leave this alone. Okay. Just gonna name. I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to. Why are you doing that? There we go. Funny though, actually, no. Every time people have found my image, they've actually come to me and asked if it was okay to use it. But here's the thing: I'm actually okay with people using my image as a reference without asking me. It's actually in the image on my DeviantArt account. The type of license I've released all of my images under is what's called Creative Commons. Specifically, I have it underneath the Creative Commons share and share alike, um, which is which means that if you use my work, as long as you credit me in your use of the work, I have no problem with you using it. And that credit could be anything like a bit of text somewhere. But basically, it can be literally anything. I'm okay with you using it as long as you give me credit, and I don't care if the credit's like a big message or a tiny little text thing. That's okay. Um, because to me, it's not the end image that's important. I don't care if people duplicate that and make money off of it and stuff like that. I don't care. The image is finished. It's theirs. It's I think a weird way to put it is what's called death of the author, which basically is once a person creates a work and puts it out there, it's no longer theirs. It's now everyone's, and anyone can use it. So that's my philosophy on my art. If you like it, if you can give me credit for it, that would be awesome. That's the most I'm asking. If you want to pay me to use it, that's cool too. Um, but basically, once I've created it and put it out into the world, it's no longer important to me. It's cool, I like it, but it's not this thing that I have to hold on to. It's not a physical object that I own. The physical thing that I own was the labor being put into it. And that, to me, is always mine. You can't steal that from me. So, yeah, people do that because they're still stuck in the mindset of like, I have to make, because of several things, I have to make money off of this thing I've made to be able to sustain my life. And you're stealing the worth of this image from me uh, when you take it without asking and without like paying for licensing and stuff like that. Ah, yeah, I've heard of that. Where companies or excuse me, people accidentally use very good fan art to use very good fan art by accident, thinking it's licensed already. Uh, like I've done very accurate to the show work. Like that's the whole thing I want to do with the 3D model I'm working on here is I want it to be as show accurate as possible, which is really hard because the show is not very consistent with the way it puts stuff like the Cutie Mark Crusaders Clubhouse together. I don't know how stable it got near the end of this series, but at the beginning of this series, oh my god. The Cutie Mark Crusaders Clubhouse would change dimensions and size and stuff like that between cuts. So they would like point one direction, talking to Apple Bloom, and then they would cut over to Scootaloo, and an object that was just in the scene with Apple Bloom was gone when they cut over to Scootaloo. And I'm like, what? Or a window would mysteriously appear and disappear between shots. I'm like, how does that even work? Uh, so yeah, Matt Pat from Game Theory, Food Theory, and Film Theory got into trouble with this in one of his live streams, I believe. He It was either a live stream or something like that, but he got into trouble with it and he cleared it up, where his editors accidentally used some uh, Five Nights at Freddy's fan art in one of their theories, and he got into trouble for that. But he apologized. He talked to the artist, and I think things got ironed out. Um, and when I'm looking up for references from a show I'm watching to do fan art, I always try to find stuff that's officially from the show to make sure I'm getting a correct reference. And the way I make sure it's from the show is either I make sure it's from one of the official websites that they have, or I can tell that it's a screenshot from the show. Or if I really want to be sure, I actually watch an episode with what I want in it, and then I screen cap from the episode itself. That way I'm getting as close to directly from the source as possible. Especially when I'm trying to be show accurate, I always like want to go to the actual episode itself and screen cap from it. Mm. Okay, let's see. Got that, got. Oh, yeah, lamp. Lamp. Let's see, I'm gonna have to rename that to club house lamp. There we go. Okay, do I have everything? Rope. Body. There we go. Yay. Okay, so I'm actually gonna highlight that, and let's actually go here and see, can we, is it from here? Do I go to collections? Oh, no, actually, would be, is it M? I don't think it's M. No, it is M. M. I'm gonna call this one rope. Okay, and I think that puts it. Yep. And we gotta actually do this, and we want to move this up here to that one. Oh, pardon me. I mostly try to look for official stuff because I want to make sure it's, when I'm doing stuff like that, I want to make sure it's show accurate. So I don't get any kind of quibbles. I also like, I'm very, I think the term is anal that way. I'm very precise. I want it to be this way. It has to be this way. So let's see here. Do I have everything finally grouped well together? I just spent a couple seconds here trying to get a good angle at my own wall to see if the texture was looking good at a certain angle. So I could see the whole texture clearly, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've got the texture down here. I can just click on the texture itself and look at it. Okay. Okay, and referenced. Let's see. Yeah, I've definitely heard about it. I've heard one thing I have heard about it that's kind of funny is like Gandhi's in there, and there was a glitch in one of the versions of the game where if you did like one thing, Gandhi would instantly escalate India to nuclear war because of a bug that made it so like I think it was the pacifist stat or something like that didn't work. So like if you did one thing, suddenly Gandhi would like blow up the world. And it was kind of funny because we're talking about Gandhi here, like the ultimate pacifist. Okay. Okay. Do do do. Do do do. Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So what are these the sides here? Yeah, that's what that is. That is all sorts of weird. Good thing I'm not going to be using any of those parts. Ah. Okay. That's not exactly what I meant to happen there. I meant to do is that. Okay, let's see here. Yep. Okay, now I need to. What do I need to build next? I think what I actually need to do is actually find that episode on my hard drive and find the reference again. Now, to use a wonderful search tool called Everything, because it literally has everything in your hard drive indexed. Hard drives, because this one searches all hard drives. So let's see. Let's try MLP. Friendship is magic. Look at all those recordings. Nice. Oh wait, I know an easier way to find it. Since I'm looking for a video file, I can just do star and then make it M. Okay. I get it. Oh, actually, I just found. Okay, so I can just right click on this and go to folder. Where are you? Open path. There we are. Oh, that's handy. This doesn't have an image search like that, but I found it's really handy. Okay, so this is season 3, season 1, episode 26. Okay, cool. Now, which episode was the CMC Clubhouse introduced? Season 2, season 1, season 3, season 1, episode 2, episode 3. Eh, that's handy. Okay. Oh. Hmm. This is the hard part. Like, so which episode had the CMC Clubhouse in it? Was it season 1 or season 2? Let's see what's in this episode here. Wait a minute. I have a reference to that. Because this says this is from season 3. Was it season 3 that the Clubhouse got introduced? That seems a little late. Oh, well. So, season 3, episode 4. Ah, that's why that image is from it, because it's from the scene where they're introducing the CMC Clubhouse to Babs. Okay, that's why that's in. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, those must be hard unless they've used. There's these programs out there that can listen to a bunch of audio and pull out words that you're looking for. So I don't know how accurate those are, but nowadays AI is pretty damn good at excuse me, finding stuff like that. Okay, so this is the Babs episode, but I think it's going to be further back. Let's see. That's season 2. What's this? Ah, this is the episode with, yeah, Mirror. This is the one about mysterious ne'er-do-well, because Flash gets a little full of herself. A lot of people don't like this episode, and I'm like, I think it's well done. Okay, let's close that. Close that. Okay, that's the one with Fluttershy. Okay, season 2. There's that, what's this one? Okay, that's the sleepover episode. Ah, okay, so episode 12 is where the Cutie Mark Crusaders actually become the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Okay, so it's got to be after episode 12, so let's try 13. Nope, that's the one with Dash and Jack. Okay, that's suited for success. God, I gotta go back and watch this series again sometime. Feeling pinky clean. Okay. Okay, here's a talent show episode. Ah! There's the clubhouse introduction. Okay. Skulu making a map. Skulu doing tricks. Branch, birds. Painting. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. There's an image I've never seen again in the clubhouse. They have this big portrait with a pony jumping through the field with flowers in the corner in sunlight in a frame that they do use later, but it has a different picture in it. Actually, no, it's the same picture but without the pony. That's funny. Let's see if I can't find. Let's see. It's one of the side walls here. Let's see, left wall, right? It's gonna be right wall. And cursor to active. View align with cursor. Okay. Let's try that again. Yeah, they have this picture kind of in the first episode of the Cutie Mark Crusaders Clubhouse, except it has more hills, a sun, and a pink pony with a heart as our Cutie Mark hopping through the field with flowers in this lower left-hand corner there. But the thing that's exactly the same is this frame. This frame is there, and that is hilarious. See? This same thing is in there. This portrait is exactly the same. Though they changed the way their roof looks later, because in this shot, it's a nice, bright, kind of brownish yellow. I would describe it as mustard yellow. And the floor was brown instead of green, like it is later. That is funny. Okay, let's skip through this, see if we can't find another angle. Doing tasks, trying to find their cutie marks. them finding out about the talent show, them putting together stuff for the talent show, them getting the fan, the fabrics. Okay, that's the outside, them trying to do things, them trying to do choreography, trying to sing. Them painting those wonderful backgrounds. Okay, I don't think there's actually a clean shot in this episode, even though this is where I thought the stuff would be. I guess it's in later episodes where we got a full like render of the CMC clubhouse from the angle I have. Okay, close that. Let's actually go back to this episode here. That's pretty much what I've done with this here, is I've actually built everything in here from scratch. Pretty much put everything in here from scratch. So to match the CMC clubhouse from the angle I found. It's so weird that I can't find that angle. You would think I would have it saved as an image somewhere. Okay, and this one's from season 3, episode 4, which is the Babs thing. So here. Okay, song, bad apple. Being an artist and looking for references. Aha. Yep. That's always fun. Okay, so where the heck did I... Yep, I'm gonna have to look up references later. But for now, I think I will turn back on some things like molding and let's see, the roof. There we go. Let's hit save on this, and let's see if a render causes a crash, because that's what I was running into, is I would turn on things and then suddenly it would do something like this. It would say it was out of memory, or it would crash. which is so weird. Like, why is it out of memory? Ah, maybe I'll take a look at that sometime. Right now, I'm trying to figure out why does thou crash? Yep, I just need to like look at it every once in a while. I am rarely on DeviantArt nowadays. I need to like catch up on there, meaning I need to put more stuff I've already done on there because I use Twitter a lot now more than anything. Because that's where my other artist friends are, so I can talk with them and show things off to them. Yep, see what I mean? Crash. I don't know why this new version of Blender crashes so much. I don't know if it's because it's the Steam version of Blender or if it's something else. But for some strange reason, this version of Blender just crashes. Let's change this to CPU. And see what happens. Ugh. Oh, that looks beautiful. Apparently the CPU doesn't do such a good job at denoising. Yeah, I was like, I'm okay with the way DeviantArt displays its stuff right now. I have no real issue with the way they do their layouts and changing. I only like have issues when I can't find something or when people update their interfaces and bury stuff I used to use all the time because they don't think anyone uses it or they think it's going to be easier to find if we put it underneath this category now. I'm like, it was fine where it was. You just had to make it easier to use. You didn't have to bury it into 15 billion settings. Like, for instance, the Lightworks program I was working with last stream, they like made a step that would take me 2 clicks in the previous versions into a 5-click situation. So they added 3 extra clicks for a simple task. Well, not clicks, but steps. Because it used to be just copy and paste between 2 things. And now it's copy, click, open up a panel, click in a text field, make sure everything's right, and then paste. So, like, you just made my task much more complicated. Thank you. Also, they made it so instead of isolating keyboard shortcuts to a window you're currently working on, it's now global. So when I hit Control V, if I'm not in the right section of that window, the Control V goes to my timeline instead of into the field. So it's like, ah. So that's the only time I have issues with interfaces is when they make it harder to do something. Not because it looks not the way I expect it to, or it's not pretty anymore, or stuff like that, or quote unquote, it hides something that I'm like, that they're not hiding that. They made it more obvious. What are you talking about? Now let's see if this crashes. Yep. Apparently, it's how it's interacting with my GPU. So it may not actually be Blender. It may be the new drivers from NVIDIA. Excuse me. Well, it's just past noon. I should probably be wrapping things up for the stream today, so I'm actually going to start Blender back up just to have it for a background here. Let's try something. Preferences. Let's try turning that off and seeing what happens. Okay, that actually disables GPU support altogether. Okay, let's try checking that and unchecking that. And changing this back over to GPU here, and yep, it seems to be interacting with my graphics card is causing the problem. So one way to find out is to actually open an older version of Blender. Which I happen to have. I have like 3 different versions of Blender because of weirdnesses. I also need to go back through like really old versions of Blender. So, because I have some older files that I would love to open, but none of the newer versions of Blender actually work. Okay. Excuse me. Wow. Oof. Okay, so this one's on G backup. Okay. I'm actually going to stay on stream a little bit longer to open up a folder. Now, how do I... Volumes, that's what I was looking for. So I'm going to go G... Let's see, did I put on G? Yeah, it's backups. Okay, art. Pony art. Okay. Close that. Go back to here. Am I looking in the right spot? Okay. Ah, yeah. Okay. Wrong button. Close that. Go back up one. Go here. CMC. Clubhouse. Background files. Okay, close that down. Okay, now this is an older version of Blender. Now let's see if this one breaks underneath the strain, but first I'm going to make sure, yep, set up there. Okay. GPU set. Okay, let's see if this breaks. No, it doesn't seem to be breaking. So that's good. Yep, the names people come up with for things. Yeah, and this older version doesn't have noise thing. I wonder if it's the noise thing that's actually causing the breaking. I should check that. yeah, this is what it currently looks like. Okay, so that's not breaking in that version, so this card changes. Let's open up the newest version of Blender here. And try something here. Let that load. It's up here. Okay, so I've turned off denoising, and let's hit this to render and see if it crashes again. It does crash again. Okay. Well, I think that's enough for today. Nice talking with you, as always, is Tommy-chan. Now the usual outro stuff, like there's going to be links down below for art, other places you can go watch other videos on this channel. We have plenty of playlists of all of our stuff. You can also find me on Twitter, Tumblr, all these other websites. All the usual stuff. And thank you for coming to this stream, so Tommy-chan, and thank you to everyone else out there, I hope, who watches this afterwards. You all have a good time wherever you are, and I'll talk to you all later.